Hi guys, in this video I'd like to show you how to start your journey into data science and machine learning as well as AI from a very practical perspective. So before we begin, a little bit of background about me. I'm a Master of Data Science graduate from Monash University in Melbourne. I've been working in a medical startup for about 2 years now, and I actually have the chance to employ quite a bit of the tools and resources that I learned from my degree. And what I've found is that not a lot of people that I've met during my current job actually know about these tools and how to apply them to make their jobs a bit more productive and easier. So that's why I'd like to make a video series about getting into data science, but from a very practical perspective, because I believe that the usage of these tools will immensely boost your productivity over the long run. And I've noticed there's quite a large gap between the usage of these tools in academia and the workplace. So I hope that by creating this video series, I can help bridge that gap in some way. Let's begin with our first topic, which is setting up a Python environment. So the first thing you're going to need is Python. Python is a programming language that is very popular in the field of data science and in general nowadays because of its simplicity and versatility. There's a very active community of Python developers that putting out projects, interesting projects every day. And if you add Python to your tool set, there's a lot of different things you can do because of this very supportive community. So I highly recommend getting Python and start using it throughout this video series as you follow along. Even if you're not a coder or you don't know much about programming, I can definitely suggest a few ways for you to make Python useful right away without having to learn to code extensively. So to get Python, you need to go to this link here, and depending on your local machine, operating system, I have Windows, so I go to this download link here and I'll download Python 3.12.1, which is the latest version. And once I finish downloading it, I'll run the installer. I already have Python, so I won't do this, but you can just click on install now and pick all of the default options if you're just starting out. And if you get stuck at any point and would love a step-by-step guide, I'll put a link to an article in the description box below where it has all of the necessary steps outlined for you. So after getting Python, you're going to need to download another tool which is called Visual Studio Code. What is this tool? So it is what is known as an Integrated Development Environment, or IDE for short. It is essentially a software application that helps programmers develop code more efficiently. So we're going to use Visual Studio Code to develop our projects using Python. And just like before, you can download and install it depending on your operating system. So I have Windows, so I click on Windows and there'll be a download link here somewhere. And yep, once you download it, you gotta start the installer like before and pick all of the basic options when you're first starting out. So if you made it to this point in the video, congratulations, the setup process is now complete. I like to keep this as simple as possible, so that's all of the tools you're gonna need. Of course, there's a few more beginner-friendly tools that you can explore, such as Anaconda, which is a package management tool for Python. So basically it comes pre-installed with a lot of different Python packages, which is essentially modules that extend the capability of Python. But what I found is that through my years of working with Python, this setup right here is probably the most simple and versatile setup. So with the setup completed, we can now move on to our first beginner project. And for this project, I've picked a example Excel file where we can do some analysis and manipulation with. The reason why I picked this beginner project is because I feel like it's gonna demonstrate the capabilities of the tools we've set up very well, and it will also allow for you to see how we can generalize the process to more different tasks. So with that said, let's dive straight in. So when I first started out coding, it used to take me quite a while to figure out how to best organize my code and just do very simple tasks like reading in the files and do basic analysis, because there's a lot of different syntaxes and logic that you need to be aware of. But now you can really speed this process up, this learning process up, by using ChatGPT, which you probably already heard of. ChatGPT can really be your best friend on this learning journey. It can really help you get proficient with Python that much quicker. And I'm going to show you the process that I normally do to use ChatGPT as a sort of thinking partner with me as a code. So yeah, we can really use it to speed up our coding process here. So the first thing that we need to do is to create a Python folder. I have this folder in my documents right here. You can create it wherever you like to store your files. This is just going to be an easy way for us to manage all of our Python projects, and you can put all of the relevant files inside this one folder, and from there you can access this folder using Visual Studio Code. So I've already created one. You can go ahead and create one for yourself. And I have put the Excel file inside of one of the folders. So I'm just going to show you the Excel file that we're going to use for this beginner project. It's a very simple file with only 4 columns, but I think it is more than efficient for the project that we are about to do. We're just gonna keep it simple and nothing too difficult here. So the next step is to open up Visual Studio Code, and what we need to do is to open that folder that we have just created for our Python project. I have it in Documents here, and in Python, and I put it in that one. So all you have to do is select Folder, and Visual Studio Code should automatically load in the structure of the folder. So I already have the Excel file in there, so it's showing that particular file right here. And next step is to create a Python file from within that particular folder. So you can do that by clicking on this button right here that says New File, and you can name this file anything you like. I'm just going to call it tutorial.py. So the most important part is the extension here, which is .py. This will tell Visual Studio Code that you want to create a Python file. And after you're done naming it, you can press enter. It should open up a new window, and you can start putting in your Python code in this new window here. So now that we have our Python file, I'm just going to show you the process that I take to start the coding part of this project. Usually it's a bit time consuming, but with the help of ChatGPT as a thinking partner, we can really reduce the learning time. As you can see, I'm using ChatGPT 3.5 here. I'm assuming that most of us won't have a subscription to ChatGPT. So if you have a subscription, it's going to be that much easier. You can just upload the Excel file and ask ChatGPT to analyze it for you. It can do that within the web browser. But if you don't have a subscription, then you would have to describe the Excel file to it, as I'm doing right here. And you need to tell it what kind of analysis you want to do. And you can ask it to generate the code for you. And with just this basic question, I could get ChatGPT to output a lot of basic bare-bone code. As you can see, I've asked it to output all of the code for the following tasks. So calculating totals, averages, and identifying top performing items or trends. And it shows you a step-by-step guide on how to run this code as well. So it's very useful. And because you're just starting out, you won't have all of the necessary libraries to run these code. So that's what you need to do first, is to install these packages or libraries. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. Just gonna copy this code, jump over to Visual Studio Code, and click on PowerShell here. It will open up this interface. From here, you can just paste the code in and run it. And since I already have a lot of these packages installed, you can see that it says requirements already satisfied. But if you don't have it installed, then it's just going to run a quick download and install it for you. So once it's all done, it's going to return to this line right here. And that's when you know you can start running the code generated by ChatGPT. And since I also want to generate a summary report after the analysis is complete, I already asked ChatGPT for a follow-up. So you can see how this process kind of works. You can start with a relatively simple request and then just keep building up by asking ChatGPT one step at a time. And just like how I did here. And this is the complete code. After I have explained to ChatGPT what I want. And this is the complete code after I've explained all of the steps I want. Of course, you can go deeper to this, but this is, I think, good enough for our beginner project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy and paste the whole thing. There's no shame here. If you're just starting out, that's completely fine. This is how we all learn. So you can just copy and paste everything. And from here, all you have to do is you can run this. So you can run this whole file just by clicking on this part, run Python file. But I'm just going to go line by line. So you can click Shift, Enter, and it will start running line by line. Keep running line by line. As long as you don't see any errors, you can just continue running it line by line. And if there's any error, usually it will have an error message that tells you what you need to fix. And if it's not clear from the error message what you need to fix, or you're just confused, all you have to do is, again, copy and paste that error message and then plug it in ChatGPT. It will immediately help you fix the code, basically. So that's looks like about all done. And now I'm gonna check out the result of that analysis. So it outputs for us an image. Top performing products for total sales. So as you can see, it's a little bit, well, this looks to be incorrect actually. Let's check out the summary report first so we can potentially troubleshoot this. Total sales. Huh. Okay. Looks like there's an error somewhere. Let's troubleshoot this. Okay, after troubleshooting a little bit, I've narrowed it down to a few problems. And the first problem has to do with our dataset. This dataset I generated using ChatGPT as well, so it has some errors in it. Basically, the price of these products, they all sum to be the same. That is why you're seeing this chart being equal for all of the three products. So I've gone ahead and changed the numbers there, so that when you generate this chart, it won't be the same anymore. And the second problem is that there's no distinction between the three products in the summary statistics here. And as you can see, the quantity just looks very strange. I'm not sure where these numbers are coming from. So we're gonna tackle that one after we run another test on this chart here. So I've changed the data. Now we're just gonna rerun everything to make sure that we have fixed the first issue. I'm gonna close this one and we're gonna rerun the code again. Just gonna run it all. and that should be good. Let's check out the chart. Yep, as you can see, now it has changed to be the correct, well, not correct, but we have fixed the dataset, so now the chart looks a bit more appropriate. The next issue that we identify is the summary statistic doesn't look to be correct. So to fix this one, we're going to go back again to ChatGPT and describe to it in details what went wrong, and ideally we want to describe to it how we want the output to look like. So as you can see, I've put in some basic description of the errors and also how I want it to look, instead of having it guessing what we want it to look like. And as you can see here, it has immediately helped us update the code. So all I have to do now is copy the code again, go over to here and paste it. So let's run this code again to see if it has indeed fixed the problem. So as we can see, it ran without any issue. Now we're gonna go check the results, the summary report. And as you can see, it has fixed the issue that we had, which is grouping by products. And now it has indeed helped us grouped by these 3 products. But obviously the layout is not ideal. As you can see, there's a redundant line up here, and it seems to be repeating the product column twice. So this is something that we can keep tweaking by going back to ChatGPT, similar to the process that I've described before. And it is also an opportunity for us to potentially learn more about Python coding as well. If you take a look at the code here, and you can identify where these redundant information is coming from, and you can potentially tweak the code yourself and test it out step by step. It's not going to be easy at first, but as you do more and more, it's going to become second nature to you. So I'll stop the video here in the interest of time, and if you like to experiment more with the dataset and the code that I have presented here, I'll leave a download link in the description box. And I hope this video has been helpful for you to start your journey into data science and AI in general. Please feel free to leave me a comment if there's any part that's unclear, and stay tuned for more in this video series. Thanks for watching.